This is probably part 2 of the series, converting this little toy to radio control. I've cut apart a radio controlled car that I had. There's the gearbox. That does fit in there, just. And I could be lazy and just position it with hot glue. That will do the job. I'd like to reuse these plastic wheels, because the ones off the toy car are much smaller, which might give it a problem. If we put big wheels on it, it may struggle to actually run. It may burn out the motor because it's putting more stress on it, but that's a minor problem. What I'm thinking, that axle is much thicker than that axle. I could either 3D print some sort of an adapter, basically 3D print different wheels, or we could coat that with solder to thicken it up. That's probably not going to be a good idea, because it won't be even, so the wheels will wobble around. We could wrap tape around it. That would thicken it. Or we could take this gearbox apart, have a look at the gear that's in there, and see if we can just drill it out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a look at it. And see whether it's thick enough to allow us to drill it out, or whether it will just fall apart. So what we're talking about is, can we drill a hole through that gear that's big enough to take that axle? And it's also got to clear that gear. That's going to be a bit tight. That might be more of a problem. Let's go close up. Right, if we're going to put a thicker axle in there, it might rub against this gear. It might be too thick. We might just get away with it. So we're talking about, where are we? Drilling that gear out so it's got a bigger hole in the middle of it, and sliding it onto this axle. It'll probably end in tears. Yeah. Because it's got to get over that as well. Might have to sand that down, file that down, because that's what grips the other wheel. First thing I've done is put the bigger axle into the gearbox and use an electric drill to spin it fast to actually open out the existing holes. So that is now, it's still a little bit tighter than it should be, but that's now a free run in there, because these bits at the end are just that tiny bit thicker than the main axle. So by rubbing it through with the electric motor running, electric drill running, that's actually clearing the space. Now we need to do the same thing with that gear. We need to push it through. We also need to put some knurling on that shaft in the right place to actually hold the gear in place when it's in there. I can do that by using my cutters to cross hatch on the surface of the axle, so it'll look like that. I've drilled that one out, so it'll be a tight fit on. No, that's the original. This is the new one. It'll be a tight fit on here, and then I've just used my cutters to put a cross hatching on there, which I've marked. That's where we want the gear to sit. So we'll tap that through. Hopefully it won't split. And then we'll see if it'll actually work. Gearbox reassembled with the thicker axle and the bigger plastic wheels. So 3 AA batteries. Okay. So still working. So that's good. What I was hoping, by keeping that bit of the original plastic bodywork, we can use that to hot glue it in place. Just there somewhere. So I'll put some wires back on the motor so we can get to it. And we'll position that and put some hot glue on it. It's not the best way to do it, but it's quick, easy and dirty. Hot glued in place. Yeah. I've put paper under the axles into the slots to make sure we get the clearance. I'll pull the paper out later when the hot glue's dried off, cooled down. And then I've put one of my JST connectors on the motor so that I can connect it up to anything I want. As in, we could go full hobby grade eventually if we wanted to. A quick check just to make sure the wheels still turn. Yeah, that looks okay. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment so I know how I'm doing. And somewhere up here there'll be some links to related playlists. Thanks again.